am Connor from the House of L.
And I am Ray from the House of Zod.
We are two of the many survivors of Krypton's destruction, and we have made our home in Australia, and dare I say, have become Australians, for better or worse. But we have also decided to read Superman comics, read Superman books, watch Superman shows, cartoons, movies, basically everything Superman, and from an Australian perspective as well. Whether you're a seasoned fan, like me,
or whether you are coming in fresh, wide-eyed and wanting to learn more like me, then this podcast is for you. Join us for our bi-weekly adventures available on all good podcast catchers.
So just search for Last Sons of Krypton, a Superman podcast. We'll be coming to you from Australia or some cosmic dimension, wherever we are, that week.
Up, and away.
This is Greg Smallwood, and you're listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 185, and you're with one of two High Priest of Khonshu. I am Ray. Hello. And tonight we'll be just doing our new segment, which is a regular weekly thing. It's an idle chat, anything to do Moon Knight, just, whimsical topics. And tonight's episode will be basically TV plots from the comic books. So I'm joined by, I guess, co-host, founding co-host as well, fellow High Priest. There's two of them in the room tonight. High Priest of Khonshu, Rebecca. Rebecca, welcome back.
Hi, it's good to be back.
Yes, always fun to have you back, Rebecca, as well. And
nice to do it. So.
And we're both, again, it seemed like a recurring theme. It's no surprise. Rebecca's in the chilly northern hemisphere, whilst I'm baking. Yeah,
it's just started snowing here, so I'm all in a moon nighty mood for all the white outside, the grey skies.
Oh,
white.
Yeah, it's a nice tone setting there. It's far from it here, unless of course Moon Knight is in LA. It's a little bit balmy. I jumped into we've got an inflatable pool, Rebecca, for little Finn.
Oh my god! Oh, bless. I thought you meant for all of you, but okay,
well,
it makes more sense that it's just for Finn.
No, it is for all of us. It's a huge one.
Of course, because in Australia everything's bigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. If she bought it, it's like, I think 2 meters by 1.5 meters or something like that.
Wow!
So we can all fit in. It's a big, just inflatable one. Fins have it. We don't fill it obviously to the top because just make it
environmental reasons.
Yeah, and safe for Finn
safety,
as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he didn't mind a little splash around. That was fun.
Oh.
But yeah, it's very, very warm here. So listeners, I was just talking to Rebecca a little early on. I've only got fans working at the moment here, so it just pushes hot air around. But
quite normal for the UK, so I'm very sympathetic because I know exactly what 33 degrees with no AC is like.
Oh yes, but you would have your own issues as well, I guess, with the snow, with car, scraping the windshield, stuff like that. Do you salt the driveway?
We don't drive, so when I used to work in a library, we used to salt the entrance for people coming up. But no, unless we get it really badly, there was one year that I did have to shovel the snow out but generally, and also I work from home, and everyone, we're in lockdown now anyway, so it doesn't really affect anyone. And it has affected things like deliveries for food for other people. Like my deliveries haven't been scheduled during the bad weather, so I've been all right. But we had some flooding last week, and people who live in those areas, I think, given that we're in lockdown, we're all relying on grocery deliveries, so it's a bigger deal than it would have been sort of normal. Yeah.
Did that flood affect anything property wise for you, or?
Not for us. We're in quite a good zone for weather, but yeah, there was some houses literally. I think their fronts fell off. It was awful, and big sinkhole opened up.
Oh, jeez, that's one of the
the factory that they're making the COVID vaccine in almost flooded, so they had to go and do a massive. And everyone's like, why did they build it on a floodplain? It's just, I think it's more like what was available. To quickly make, I mean, you need some very specialized equipment to make vaccines. So it's more like what was available that we can get quickly producing the sort of levels of vaccines we need. But yeah, thankfully they apparently saved all the vaccines that were there. But yeah.
Yeah, because I'd imagine it would be akin to, I mean, obviously at a bigger scale and not as kind of like a mad dash. Obviously, I mean, trying to get
I think they knew that that's the place to save, you know. So and once the flood starts, they know what they're doing, and thankfully it's the one that doesn't need the crazy refrigeration. So
the minus,
because we're only making the AstraZeneca one on site. So
okay. They're making it over here sometime as well, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's AstraZeneca as well, I think.
I think it is as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really remember what Australia's doing.
Oh, I can't remember.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
So much of my work is focused on the US and the UK reaction, and then maybe a bit of Europe, and then the developing world. That I just, anywhere that isn't in that kind of...
Forgot about your little brother Australia there, Rebecca. Anyway,
well, I don't deal with the Middle East. So you're not the only area, but just like I'm very focused on like sort of developing world, UK, US.
Yeah, so. No, that's fair enough. I Josh.
That's for my work. Like for myself, I don't really. I try not to read news these days. So.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, the things that you come across.
Yeah.
But anyway, listeners, Rebecca is here, and we are, as mentioned, we're doing an idle chat. We're going to go through, I guess, what we'd like to see and maybe what we think we will see in the upcoming Moon Knight TV show from Disney Plus, as in which plot lines and comic book series will they pull from to kind of build their story within the TV show. So I don't know. I think it'll be just quite an interesting one.
I mean, I definitely just threw things out generally. Yeah. Like, I don't have any. Obviously, it's so far out. We only have 3 cast members. Could be anything right now. So, I'm not gonna. And we're really right at the beginning of Marvel's TV. Like, we've had 3 episodes of WandaVision.
Yes.
So, there's a lot to go, and I'm sure we'll refine this probably on a fairly regular basis, like the minute we get more info. But we're going on nothing. So I think we've both just gone for what would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a shot in the dark, but I mean, but it's encouraging to see the likes of WandaVision. I mean, there are definite references to some comic book threads, but really change. You know what I mean?
So, and also I mean. I like, without saying too much about WandaVision, but general with the MCU and how they've converted things. And it's not always successful for me, and I don't always love it for me. But I think they've been very good at being able to just say, well, here's a wild idea from this comic. Why don't we just pull it in and chuck it in that comic?
Yes.
In that sort of... and it may not be right, but, it may have... So you can be, however big a fan you are, you can be a little bit off-footed by it.
Yes.
But I quite like that because I like the fact that they're making it not to just make exact replicas, but also to give people who've read it something a bit new, to let different creators have a go at it. So it really does become like a different creators taking on a comic run.
Yeah.
And, you can pull from whatever you want and make it a bit. So this is why I'm always cautioning people with Moon Knight, especially after the Iron Fist experience, is that to just try and enjoy what there is and then pick it apart, not to come at it expecting the world. Like, don't expect this perfect everything you ever wanted from a Moon Knight TV show, because the chances of them doing that are very low when they're trying to make it for people who have no idea who the character is as well. So that and also things have changed about how we talk about mental health. We've talked about this so often.
Yes.
But I think look for themes that you'd like to see and hope they're in there. Like, I think that's what we're about to talk about because I've seen our lists.
Yes, yeah, no, for sure. And I think you're absolutely right on point as well. And I try to, I don't know, I mean, of course, there will be fans, Rebecca, that will be disappointed because it's not exactly
right. And
what they do.
Also that there is nothing wrong with hoping for exactly what you want from it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised if they pull out a plot that was in a Wolverine comic and chuck it into Moon Knight. And I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying it's the kind of thing we're seeing a little bit happen.
But yeah, exactly. I'm anticipating something of they will say pull something from the Moon Knight comic books, but it'll be kind of twisted and not exactly a representation, which is kind of what you were alluding to as well. And I can foresee that a lot of fans will go, "Oh God, they've just ruined the good story." But no, it's like it's a different interpretation. It's something different, something new, and it's not like we haven't seen that before, i.e., WandaVision. It's not exact.
And the comics are absolutely still there.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Hopefully it'll bring more people to the comics, and as we've talked about, give us some Moon Knight higher profile within the whole Marvel setup. Yeah. Because there were definitely a few Defenders runs around the 2 years Netflix had them. So and also let's hope he's loved and people love the TV show. We either get more seasons or see him in the films, which is what I'd like to see happen. So.
I think so. I think I'd like to see that happen as well. Well, just quickly, I was listening to another podcast and they were, I guess, speculating that one of them said, okay, the MCU is going to implode by 2025. It's like it's not going to be a thing anymore. And I was just thinking while I was listening to it, there's so much to still look forward to. I mean, sure, we
haven't had Mutants yet.
Exactly, we haven't had Mutants. We haven't had Fantastic Four. I'm sure there's going to be at least a trilogy of these things as well. So that's going to go way past 2025. But not only that, I think the big draw card for me is now this whole thing about how TV shows can kind of overlap into the movies now, which we didn't get with Netflix, and we kind of got a little bit with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's going to change the game.
Yeah,
very little.
This is going to change the game, and especially with Disney Plus, the subscription service, so you can kind of rely on. And I also think they're going to start increasingly making films that don't rely on you having seen it, but like. Yeah, I mean, so even in Marvel, we've got the supernatural side, which Moon Knight and Blade. We've got sort of already coming. We've barely touched on the cosmic side.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's so much to go. And I think it's going to change, and I don't think it's going to be quite as every film has to tie into the next. But you can definitely have little pockets of it, which I think is possibly what will happen.
Yeah.
Or this whole TV world of it, like it gives us the opportunity, to have a character like Mephisto show up in multiple series.
Oh yes, good point.
And films, because some of or Kang, or the ones that can have an impact on both TV and the film, even if the good guys are separated.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that would just as much get fans excited to see those references, to see those familiar characters, and it not necessarily be the heroes, right? Just saying the villains, or even just the secondary characters, as long as there's something that connects them. I think that's really great. But the fact that now that Feige has said, look, these things will bleed over and vice versa. I mean, we're already getting Wanda over in Doctor Strange 2, and she's no stranger to the films already. So, I think it's very exciting times. I think, we're in for something different, because I think Marvel isn't afraid to try something different. I mean, they're not going to stick to, let's get a band together and, each of them have their movie and then have this big kind of ensemble. It's going to be something different, I think.
I think so as well, yeah.
But anyway, so Loonies, as usual as well, a big thank you to all our patronies. So those listed as co-producers and executive producers in the show notes have subscribed, and please consider as well, if you are listening, to throw some coin our way as well. There's many bonus incentives, and it really does help to kind of expand the show a bit more, trying to give you a bit of bang for buck. Also, having said that as well, just a little note to all the Patronis, some writing duties, since I am a little backlogged now with, I'm just doing a bit of writing for a fun serial adventure. So a few writing duties.
My starring role.
Yes, so Rebecca.
Give you some money. It's like
that was awesome.
How it works, guys.
It was awesome fun. But yeah, there's just a few things I'm writing at the moment. So unfortunately, the monthly digest, I'm going to have to try to reformat that and make it just a little bit tighter, just so that I don't spend too much time on it. Only because I'm writing some other stuff, but I will include some bonus material, bonus written stuff for you Patronis in that digest as well. So fear not. And a big thank you to the likes of Daniel, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, James, Russell, and Anthony for all your great support. And I'd like to shout out as well Hello Headphones, empowering gamers to play at their best, and Dreamland Comics, the superhero superstore, for your sponsorship. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
now, Rebecca.
Everyone.
Thank you. Yes. So Rebecca, let's get into it then. So
let's go.
So you've got yourself a bowl of popcorn, you've got yourself your nice comfy chair, you're going to settle into the Friday that is the premiere of Moon Knight on Disney Plus. You know, Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke. What would you expect to see, I guess, in the first episode and subsequent ones?
That's a terrifying question. That's like no, that's what do I expect to see? I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I still kind of want to see it open with Stephen Grant making a TV show.
Oh, on that angle, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of still want to do a bit of messing up like that and then pull into it that way. Or start with Jake Lockley giving someone a lift, picking up someone in a cab and like that we know already, or something a little throwaway, silly, like thing like that. And then I would expect to see something of an origin and something of, I would like to see him suit up quickly. I don't want it to be like the Netflix shows where it's you don't get the suiting up till the end. I mean, it depends how they go, but I'd like to see him suiting up and doing something heroic, but also within this kind of weird, like either something weird happen or it's really hard. Go on, you answer the question. What do you want to see? Because that's a really difficult one. Because the setup is the thing that's why they have TV writers.
Exactly. No, I think you've pitched a whole lot better, more thoughtful ones, and I was very boring. I just thought like the way that it would start, like in my head, the way it would start would probably be Mark mercenary, kind of in the Sudan or in Egypt, and maybe a lead up to it. So so this is very boring, Rebecca. It's like
no, I kind of want that as a flashback though.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
okay.
All right, I wouldn't mind if it happened chronologically and then we flash forward, but I suspect I would see it more as a flashback. So
okay, well, I definitely agree in that point. I reckon it's not going to be like a chronological from go to woe.
Yeah,
just that it'll go flash forward after it. But I think would see like something early, pre Bushman even days, just Mark the Merc, maybe with Frenchie. Only because of that casting news where they were looking for, they were nondescript Egyptian characters, and it seemed like there was maybe a prior mission or something to, him encountering Bushmen and then, the whole thing kind of...
I mean, I definitely want to see that happen, so...
But yeah, I mean, I think, I guess there was that, and then flash forward, because like you... I wouldn't want the suit to come at the very end. I want it to be established and it's there. But yeah, a bit of back and forward with the times.
If they go with one of my ideas, and yours as well, I've specified the idea more than you have. You've got the Ellis run, and I said Mr. Knight and working with Detective Flint.
Yes, the noir kind of aspect, right?
Because and even if they don't do it as noir, so like when I say suiting up, I don't mind if the first episode we see is him working with Flint and in the Mr. Knight suit, and then we see the other suit in other episodes and flashbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I very much want him to be established as a good guy.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know how. But I think there's elements of that run is that we've both kind of, sorry for like stealing your list,
No.
like not doing the list as in order. But
right,
I think it's quite an interesting one. Like I don't. It's weird because I added it as this would be cool rather than this is what I necessarily want. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that, and I could see how they could do that, and then bring him back to different type of Moon Knight, like not the Mr. Knight roles and things. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, look, I and this is just me as well. Like I think from what you're saying, I'd like to see, and I'm hoping we see a lot of Detective Flint in there. That kind of aspect of Moon Knight. For some reason, I don't know. I might be totally wrong. I don't see a Mr. Knight turning up. I see it more of that classic, Moon Knight coming through the window, in his.
I would love that.
Costume.
Like I would love nothing more than that, but I wouldn't mind. You know what they could do though? They could do a Mr. Knight nod, like by having him in a white suit at some point, and that'd be very fun. I
think so, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see... don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Mr. Knight in there, but I don't know, just the vibe of Oscar Isaac and how that, the little tidbits that we're getting about, how they potentially might be going with, it being a lot more based in Egypt. I don't know.
I've not read anything about it other than the casting. So so far, I'm trying to be good and not get too excited about something too far out. But it wouldn't bother. I want the original suit, or I want the normal suit. Can I call it the normal suit? What am I supposed to call it, Ray? Am I supposed to call it High Priest Ray? The original. I want that, but I'd like a nod to Mr. Knight because it's a nice look.
It's a lot easier to pull
what would be funny if he had to go out from like a Stephen Grant appearance where he's in a white tux. And he doesn't have time to suit up, so he just grabs some sort of mask.
That'd be cool. I'm just getting visions now of him at some ball or dinner.
Exactly.
And there's some shenanigans happening, so he just pulls a mask on or something. That would be cool.
I'd not like that. That'd be fine.
Yeah, for me. Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, I it's so weird. Mr. Knight suit will definitely be easier to pull off. I'd love to see. And I
agree. That's almost why I don't want to see it as the full time one.
Yeah, you want that challenge. You want to say, okay, how are they going to work this suit in the original suit? How are they going to work that in?
And didn't the cinematographer, the one who first said it was definitely Oscar Isaac, didn't he make some comment about the challenge of lighting a white suit?
Oh, did he? Okay,
I think
Greg Middleton was it?
Yeah, I think he made some comment about the challenge. I mean, obviously they're all white suits, so that doesn't give you any real insight. But I think that it's pretty cool. Yeah. I think that was one of the reasons that he was mentioning it.
Right. I think in any instance, though, I'm betting that we get perhaps Mark Spector pulling that white cloak off the statue of Khonshu.
Yes.
If anything, as a nod, to the suit. And if anything, that will be a tease. I
like that. Yeah, I like that.
Because that's realistic enough to do, right? You don't have to...
Yeah, that's definitely...
He can just pull it. As for, I guess kicking it off... I put in the Doug Mensch, the 1980 run, looking at basically issue 1, say... I think that they might lean a lot from that. Again, going from my very boring introduction into the TV show or how I see it starting, I think they'll probably go into that. So we're getting we'll get that tried and true origin of Mark going up against Bushman for some indiscretion and being left for dead and going into the temple, and whether or not he's resurrected or there'll be probably a hazy thing. Whether it's...
Which is fun because, of course, I put the origin, but from Night of the Jackal.
Oh.
So the Volume 2
Volume 2. Oh, right.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'd already seen your list, so I'm just giving alternates.
Yeah,
but one way you're a lot more... Again, it's funny because it starts with some art galleries and then flashes back and you're not really sure if Khonshu happened or if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the origin... I think is a given that we would both like to see. And
Do you
it's
think
just
yeah.
yeah. Go, sorry.
Oh, I was about to say with the origin and stuff, because Mensch does introduce a lot of people straight away. Do you think we'll see a lot of the characters like Crawley and Jenna and all that?
I really hope so.
I hope so too. I know it looks most likely we'll get Frenchie and Marlene, of course, but just as other characters, I'm wondering like Ricky Ray.
I really, really want Crawley and Gina.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think there's a different aspect to them. I mean, I guess Luke and Danny have them as sort of street heroes, have kind of sort of street contacts. But there's something very family about them as well. Like, yeah, they're different. They're from a different world than Mark, but they're also become family.
Yeah,
and know him in a different. I think I'd like to see different characters that know him in his different.
Yes.
Yeah. Aspects, alters.
Yeah, because Crawley and Jenna are firmly in the Jake Lockley camp.
Yeah.
So the question is, I guess Frenchie you could argue is with Mark.
I mean, Frenchie's with all of them, and so's Marlene. You know, like they know what's going on, and you know.
But maybe we'll get like new characters specific to Stephen Grant. I mean, because I can't think of anyone.
No, I can't think of anyone particularly specific to him. But
Samuel Zanetta, I guess, the servants.
I
guess that's
that would be it. Actually, I guess. Yeah.
But you probably want more because there's not much you can do with them.
I mean, I don't want them to shy away from it because of the Batman thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I don't think there's all that. I mean, like you've got so many other differences that I don't think it's a big deal to have someone who, and they don't have to have him at the height of his riches either. You know, they can just have he's a rich businessman. He doesn't have to have, multi-billions or whatever.
No. I mean, they in the comics, right? It's not. I don't think he's the level of Bruce Wayne. It's like he saved his fortunes from his Merc days or something, and so he's got a bit of a pity.
Aren't they kind of fairly non-specific about how much money he actually has? And like sometimes it's from business and good investments, and sometimes it's from other stuff, and sometimes he's a bit more film starry, brash.
I mean, actually, I guess he must be doing well because he's got like mooncopters and gadgets and stuff. So that's
doing well enough for that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I never saw him kind of as rich and influential as say Bruce Wayne.
Not. I mean, he's not in the Tony Stark, Danny.
No,
kind of league.
Except for that run in Mark Spector with the Spector Corps, that kind of was the be all and end all of his kind of empire. But well, how about then because one of the castings that had been revealed recently is Ethan Hawke, and there's been a lot of speculation about who he'll play, and I think it's hats off to the versatility of Ethan Hawke because he seems to be able to fit into a lot of Mark Spector's rogues.
I think the only one I wouldn't like him to be is Randall.
Oh, okay, right.
Because I think casting one not very Jewish actor is one thing.
Doesn't. Yeah, he and Oscar don't really actually. Well, even them, they don't even look like they would be.
No, but it doesn't matter. But like casting two, I think would be. That would start being. I've said before, I don't mind the fact that Oscar only has some Jewish origin, but not very, and was raised Christian, and it's like so we're talking about probably a couple of generations back or something. That doesn't bother me so much. But if they keep casting his family, that's not Jewish.
Yeah, that'll be a bit.
I think like at least some of like I can hand wave one, but like not two. And you're right, they don't look alike, so I don't see that happening. I'm not worried about that. But that's probably the only one of his. Like, I can see him playing any of the other ones that people have suggested, like from Black Spectre, Profile.
Yeah. So because I saw it
by Night.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because I was looking at your list. So there seems to be. So you mentioned. Werewolf by Night 32, like the first appearance, and of course that has Jack Russell. So I was, speculating whether that was the Ethan Hawke reference, the why you picked it, or
I picked it because, as everyone knows, I love werewolves. I love werewolves. I love werewolves. I like Cap werewolf. Cap wolf is my favorite. Some of my favorite Cap, as we all know from the epic Moon Knight episode where I dissolved into laughter at the idea of it. I like werewolves, and I would like to see them play into some of the supernatural. And if we're having Khonshu and mythology, I think it would be a nice parry to that. However, not 100% sure they will, and I think it might be easier to. But then we've got Blade coming up, so who knows?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the fans are assuming that they're tying Moon Knight and Blade together. I mean, none of that is concrete, but
no, I'm assuming that there might at least be. There's a possibility of that, and so
me too.
Rather than because I can't see Blade turning up in the TV show. Can I see? Moon Knight? I mean, obviously I can, but I'm not. I think it's more likely that Moon Knight, once established, might show up in the Blade film.
Yeah, and so just working through that train of thought, listeners, of course, then you would introduce some sort of supernatural horror aspect to Moon Knight to tie it into Blade.
Right. So and Werewolf's always a good one because of the moon thing and Moon Knight, and it's I guess the other reason I put Werewolf by Night was I think it would be nice to see Mark acting as a kind of mercenary.
Yeah.
For like
go
get this bounty.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was the first one that jumped into my mind of him doing that because werewolves are always very close in my mind. But also, it's iconic. And whether we see it or not, or we get a nod to it, I expect there will be something in there.
Yeah. Just as an aside there, Rebecca, so have you read or watched Harry Potter and all that?
I've read Harry Potter a long time ago, and I've seen half the films.
Okay, because
don't shame me.
No, not at all. Look, it's only because Eve and I were playing a card game yesterday. Codenames. It's for Harry Potter, and it had a werewolf in it. I didn't realize there was a werewolf in Harry Potter. Fenrir Greyback, I think he's called.
They have one of the guys turns into.
Oh, of course, the professor,
Sirius.
Of course, yeah. Of course, and the academic guy.
Lupin.
Lupin.
Oh my God, Ozzy's just seen the snow.
Oh, transfixed.
Yeah, he's absolutely transfixed.
Just seen it, or is it like falling? Is that what
it's falling from the sky? So he's just just spotted it through the window. Just gave it this big glare of like what's going on. So what were we talking about? Sorry, I should have derailed this.
Werewolves. But also you mentioned Ethan Hawke potentially as was it?
Yeah, I thought. I have been dissuaded by the Discord, but because Ethan did that. He did the Native American comic, didn't he? Inda.
Oh, okay. Right.
So
yeah.
I think there's some connection there. I don't know his.
It could be. I mean, look, purely aesthetics. I see him as Black Spectre, Carson Knowles. I don't know, only because
I think aesthetically it probably is the most likely.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that.
I'm not sure. I think he's the most exciting villain.
I would have thought.
I like him, but I just think he's not the most exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just recently reread that God and Country by Benson and Teixeira, and Black Spectre is so cool in that one.
Okay.
So I just thought, okay,
I will read that again. And,
it's really cool. It's Benson, but I think Houston gives a lot of input, so it really does tie in well with Houston's run. So there's a consistency there. But Black Spectre's Carson Knowles, kind of like a guy on the fringe, trying to make ends meet. He's getting hard done by the system. It's that kind of trope of this guy's trying to do good, but the system's making him bad or keeping him, forcing him to be bad, kind of thing. So it had that aspect to it, and I know, like Ethan Hawke to me looks very unassuming, and I think Carson Knowles is kind of unassuming as well. Yeah.
My other guess for him, and this is a potentially weird one,
Yeah.
is things like someone like Mephisto.
I could see him as Mephisto, actually.
Because
I know it
like
sounds
one
terrible.
of my very low key predictions
Yeah.
is that maybe Mephisto will show up in multiple TV shows and films,
Ooh.
not necessarily played by the same person each time.
Oh, actually, Rebecca, can I ask you just quickly?
Yes.
You told me a while ago that you had some information that you couldn't, disclose.
Oh my God! Like, how am I supposed to remember that now?
I'm just wondering if the secret had come out. Like, I don't know, whatever
Yes,
it is.
I think it was Oscar Isaac. I think.
Oh, really? Was that
it?
it?
Was the Moon Knight had definitely been cast? Yeah, and Oscar Isaac. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
It was
Wow.
definitely something to do with the casting, and it's definitely come out now. So.
Oh, okay. Because it was in the back of
Yeah,
my mind.
I was just
going,
like,
I've got to
I
ask
can't
you.
tell anyone because like that's like, if it gets out, then I'll absolutely be.
Yeah. Well, Greg Middleton's in, he'd be in a lot of trouble now, wouldn't he? So, but I mean, I like your idea, Mephisto as well. Again, it's something I could see Marvel doing.
And if not Mephisto, then somebody else in that kind of like Nightmare or
I think
Morpheus or any of those kind of.
So I would have said Loki, but he's already really established.
He's like super established, and it's unlikely we'll get someone that doesn't look a little bit like Tom Hiddleston as Loki. But yeah, something like that, and that's kind of my. It's based on nothing. It's based on nothing except it would be a shame to, if you're going to use Mephisto, it would be a shame to limit it to one person's baddie.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Exactly, because he's such a big.
It came from a long time ago when somebody was like talking up that they thought Mephisto might be in Loki. They had no basis on this, so I feel quite happy saying it because none of this is spoilery at all. And then somebody else speculating WandaVision, and then somebody else was like, well, what about Doctor Strange? And I think at the time the person who was talking to me about Loki was somebody who keeps trying to drop spoilers at me, and they were like, oh, what if so? And there was some casting for Loki was revealed, and they were like, what if so and so is playing Mephisto? And I just made some random comment about some woman had been cast and said, what if she's playing Mephisto, just to annoy them. Literally there was like nothing in it. And then I started thinking, well, actually it would be quite cool to have, if you have a character like Mephisto, they don't have to always look the same.
Yeah.
They don't
exactly. No.
He quite often takes other shapes to trick people. I think I just read Loki Agent of Asgard when he pretends to be someone. I don't want to spoil the comic because everyone should go read it. But I think that was like what triggered it to me, and I was like going, oh, that would actually be quite cool. And if I was going to have Ethan Hawke, I would want him for more than just Moon Knight. But I appreciate he said before that he's not a great fan of comic book movies, so maybe they got him because Moon Knight is quite a different feel. In which case, then it would be just a one and done. So
yeah, true. I mean, and when you say that, the different feel, immediately I'm going back to Kevin Feige's comments of that Indiana Jones style.
Oh, that'd be so
TV.
I would love that so much for them to do that and not like. I think it would be quite surprising. I think we're all expecting very noir, and for them to go like high Indiana Jones with it would just be really great.
Yeah, that would be more towards the Mensch run anyway.
Yeah.
Like so,
exactly.
it's like not Moon Knight. You know what I mean?
No.
Sorry, it's not Moon Knight.
It's not what people nowadays think more like the Ellis Lemire runs.
Yeah.
Because for obvious reasons, they're both standout, excellent runs, and everyone should read them. But and I should point out to everyone, we've both put the Lemire run in there as things we'd like to see. I'm trying to work out what bit of it would work in a TV show.
Yeah, I just think so we have put both Lemire in there. I think there's so much cinematic kind of scenes and stuff like you see from the comic, the Lemire run. I don't know, it just seems that it could work really well, and dare I kind of put it parallel to say the likes of Legion, but that visual kind of force where and Lemire and Smallwood did it so well in the comic book run, you can kind of imagine it. Yeah, you can.
I mean, it's perfection. I would definitely like to see that origin of family life if they do ever give us Randall. And if say Ethan Hawke is the profile, and we do get Randall, and I'd like that kind of, because that was a nice nugget of like having the rabbi father and
yes,
and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, that'd be good. I mean, so from the Lemire and Rebecca, well, I
don't think we're going to get the Space Wolves, sadly. Much as I'd like them, I think that might be a step too far for series 1.
How about Dr. Emmett? Will we get a Dr. Emmett, do you think, then? Because
I think we could, if we get to see him talk to a psychiatrist at any point, which I think we should, because I think that's the only way you can really get the diagnosis out easily. It's a very shorthand way to get the diagnosis out. I mean, to me, I'd send him to Fool Killer, you know me, but Dr. Emmett would be fine. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think
I could
whether
definitely see an episode that's very Lemire-esque in like an asylum.
I'm going to put that down as I think both of our predictions. I think that out of the I think they're still working on how they're going to format it, but it looks most likely a 6-episode thing, maybe longer.
Yeah, I think most of them are 6 episodes up to an hour, but like WandaVision's longer because it's got these shorter episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I don't know what. Yeah. I mean, I guess the short of it, Loonies, I'm not sure what they will take, other than potentially the visual aspects and kind of going into the mental. I mean,
we've got a very good-looking Mark, so.
Yeah,
they've taken that from the limit.
Yeah, they should have just gotten Greg Smallwood.
They should have just got Greg Smallwood.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of him recently, and I was like, "It's crazy."
That's crazy. What are you doing? Why are you just Why are you just an artist?
Why?
You should be.
Why,
Well, I guess just to tie things up, Rebecca, you said characters you'd like to see. Like in the series.
Yes, because I felt constrained by storyline.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
So number one, this is one of my big ones. Scarlet, you're saying Scarlet Fasanera, stained glass Scarlet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because he doesn't have many women.
Yes.
And that would be a nice way. And also, she's just great.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there is some credence in May Kalamoe potentially being Scarlet?
I mean, I think that's who knows? I mean, that's just, it's like, we have no idea. We have 3 people cast and we only know who one of them is. It's just out there. It could be any, I mean, like, we could have a female, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's Egyptian, so, right, she's got, so I don't.
What if she's like Khonshu?
I mean, right, there's a chance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could twist it, true.
That's the other thing you have to remember is that they have gender changed and race changed so many characters for the films and shows so far. So it's all bets are off. You know, she could be, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my bet is as Marlene. I think she is.
I think
again, I could be totally wrong. I mean, I don't think they. I don't know. I don't think they would cast a high-profile actor in it. So I think she's got a chance. If you know what I mean, not taking anything away from her, but like.
I mean, to be fair, Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke are pretty high profile. So
that's right.
I mean,
So that means, exactly.
But he doesn't have many female characters in around him. So I mean, she could even be Detective Flint. We just don't know.
She could, but true. The fan trailer that we reviewed in our previous episode.
That was
with
good.
Justin. Yeah, he it showed the female Detective Flint, so absolutely no reason why can't be.
Dr. Emmett.
Dr. Emmett, as well.
Just go with anything, you know.
I'd love to see if they do bring Scarlet Fasanera. I'd love to see it in the because I just flicked through it again recently. Issue 24. It's when she's kind of on her vengeance path, and she tracks down those guys. And Mark catches her, and I think it's in the Bronx at the beginning.
I think so. I'd like that one as well.
That's a really good one.
But I think honestly, given how they usually list castings, the chances are she's Marlene.
Yeah,
because if we know Ethan's playing the baddie, then I don't mean, like, she's definitely going to be a starring role in it. So
she's not going to be Egyptian member 4.
Yeah, Egyptian goon number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Merc
Corpse
3
or something. Yeah.
You got like Mark Bushman and Merc number 3.
Taken out in the first scene. That she's anyway. Any other ones there, Rebecca?
My list is Scarlet, Morpheus, Randall, Black Spectre, The Profile, and Bushman. I think they would all be now in a 1-season TV show where you only have 6 episodes. They ain't all gonna make it.
I know, but the promise is there that they might be there in subsequent seasons.
They're my. If I had to make a must-have list of ones I would like to see in a live action, they're the ones.
Do you think? Just finally, we'll wrap this up. But do you think they will, with the 6 episodes and however how long they go for each, do you think they'll introduce more than one villain in the season, or do you reckon they'll keep it to one?
I think there's a good chance there'll be more than one.
Okay, or maybe at least just introed, like okay,
or
okay.
One that's just like half an episode, like
Yeah, okay. Because I have a feeling it would probably be mainly like one big bad. You have Khonshu, and then you might get like a, an end scene or something, an end credit scene or something.
I quite like Maya's Khonshu, actually. If Khonshu's gonna be real.
Yeah, she can pull off a very scary. Khonshu, exactly. Doesn't necessarily have to be like devilish. So
no.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go, Loonies. Just a little bit food for thought there on where you think...
Come fight us.
Yeah, exactly. Come fight us. I'll only put Rebecca's contact details in the show notes. I'll hide behind... I
know these things get very emotive, and honestly, I'm fine to talk about it with anyone. None of these are hard and fast. So
exactly, yeah. Let's put that out there as well.
I want everyone to love whatever happens, so I'm just throwing things out there. So.
And again, I want to reiterate, and again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to see exactly what you have in the comics, but I think just to temper that and just to maybe prep people, it's just like we know track record shows that Marvel, although they do very well in capturing the essence of characters, they do twist and turn stuff. So I'm expecting things are going to be slightly different. Storylines are going to be slightly askewed, all, for the better of the show. So, so what Rebecca and I have put is purely speculation. But these are the threads that we see that potentially can be interweaved into the show, and maybe something that we want to see anyway. So,
so let us know what you think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. I'm hoping maybe later on in the week, if you can join me again to do a review. Do you think you'd have time? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, Looney's next phase is a last quarter, so that means it's an over the moon. It's an arc review. And so we'll be looking at High Strangeness by Mensch and Texera, issues 1-4. I think it came out at the end of 1998. It should be good. We'll cover that just holistically. We won't get into detail of each issue, but that should be fun. Hopefully, if Rebecca can join us, that would be really good indeed. Anyway, Rebecca, thank you so much once again. It was so much fun having a good chat. And,
it was nice.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll catch you towards the end of the week. Loonies, you can contact us through various social platforms. You can drop us a line on email at itkmoonnight@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/itkmoonnight, and a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/itkmoonnight. We are on Twitter. Our handle is at itkmoonnight, and we're on Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube. Just search for Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. We're also on Discord. Just search for the server Into the Night with a K. Please leave an iTunes rating or review if you can. It helps us reach other loonies out there too. Also, if you have any feedback, we also look to improve ourselves and the show. Finally, we're on all good podcast catches. Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also on Podcoin. Please check us out and share episodes with your friends.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.